This is those patterns that I tabbed out for you. I thought I would at least play them so you could take a look. I'm going to have two camera angles here so you can see what my right hand is doing. I believe the first one was something that fits over an E chord. So over an E chord you might have So that kind of works based on these things, triads. That group of three notes, 13th fret, 12th fret, 12th fret, is on the based on an E bar chord. So it's just the top three notes of an E bar chord, and we talked about that. Whenever it comes down to this bend right here, that's the same as these two notes, which is the upper two notes of an E triad here. So an E triad is E, G sharp, and B. In this particular spot on the neck, it's E, G sharp, B. Now the one up here on the 13th and 12th frets is G sharp, B, E. So it's just an inversion. The lower inversion of that same chord is what you think of as a D shape. And that D shape is B, E, and G sharp. So that's kind of where those stops are along the way. So it's just a matter of getting to them. So what I did was I went from an E, and this kind of implies an E7 chord, actually kind of an E9. Those two notes are kind of an E6 chord, and whenever I come down here, so this is kind of part of an E9 chord. So the chords that are being implied are E and E7 and E6 and E9. And then when we do this bend, we're just again sort of creating an E triad sound. And whenever I bend and release and come down to that note, that is our E that's part of our E triad. We're also kind of going, that note is also the point on that little triangle shape that is a D shape pointing this way. So anyway, that's basically just a way of connecting a couple of different triad shapes. Another one that I think I showed you was this. Now that's basically the same starting triad shape. Now we're based on a G and the G triad. I'm just walking up chromatically to the third, and I'm playing that triad with these two fingers rather than these two. And again, that's just a product of putting this before it. That fingering just works. Now I go to this A minor, and then there's a passing B flat minor, and then that walks up to here. Now those two notes are part of that G triad, and this G triad is just the next inversion. This is B, D, and G, a G triad. This is D, G, and B, and the final one would be G, B, D on the 12th and 10th frets. So we're just connecting triads again. And so I'm kind of converting my D into my D shape, which is a G triad here, into the D7 shape, a G7 chord in this position. G triad, G7 chord. Now the G7 chord here is missing the note G. It's actually right there. So this is kind of a bar chord, you can think of it. So a G triad, a G7th chord, another G triad, So we're walking from this one. Sort of ending on two notes that imply, again, this G7.